Okay, so just for these guys real quick, we're on day game boot camp, and so we did street game first, and then we went to the grocery store, and we're at this grocery store, and just for these guys real quick, this particular student, he did a night game session with me and a day game session. So we're on day game, but we're talking about night game now. You asked if I recommend like the beggars game, right? Beggars game. Because on the night game session, we nothing happened until like the crazy shit ended up going down at the very end of the night, but before that, before it was time for street game and all that, we didn't pull, we didn't have sets that, like, we had hooked long enough to like try to like get them to come with us. We were messing around with those one girls at Pint House, remember? But then like those fucking giant dudes that were buying them a bunch of shots. It's like, what? We would have had to buy shots to compete with them, whatever. But anyway, you're asking, so you're asking about if you should be doing beggars game, okay? Beggars. And the reason why I wanted to record this before we got into it is because there's like a very important point that needs to be made here, which is I talk about in pickup, there's like a bunch of different kind of like tight ropes that you're walking, and one of the biggest ones is, super important fucking tightrope. Earlier I was talking about social terrorism. There's a difference between going hard at pickup. Over here it's like, go hard, open a lot of sets. Over here it's like, don't be a fucking social terrorist. You know what I mean? Running up to a fucking group just to like look cool in front of your boys and like interrupting people's lives and shit. You know what I mean? But again, it's a tightrope. It's a fine line. Now that being said, so beggars game is what we're calling it, which is basically end of the night, you haven't pulled yet, running around doing street game. That is also a tightrope. So one, I mean, let's look at that. We call it beggars game because it's low value as fuck. However, you'll find yes girls sometimes. You know what I mean? When I was out with you and Hodge and all those guys a couple weeks ago, and then I ended up getting in that group, into that car with that group of girls, and I pulled that one girl back to the hotel. Like, that's from fucking quote unquote beggars game, right? So going hard like that can produce a result. However, again, now on the other side of that, where the balance is like you don't feel cool doing that.
Not at all.
You know what I mean?
Beggar, literally a
You're
beggar.
like,
we're homeless.
Hey, real quick, we're having an after party. We're having an after party. Come on, why not? You know what I mean? You feel kind of crazy. So this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say about it. Okay, is that it almost depends on where you are in your head that night. Okay, so it's like how I'm always talking about neediness lies in the subcommunications. So if I'm texting a girl and she's like not hitting me back, and I'm texting her like I'm texting her every like 2 hours, hey, hang out with me, hey, hang out with me, hey, hang out with me. Like, say that I did that, hypothetically. That's like needy, right? But what if I don't really give a fuck? What if I actually am in abundance, but I recognize after like years and years in game, like I have some girls where like, I'll fucking text, but I don't really care. I don't actually care if they come through, right? But I know that some girls actually require that level of persistence. So sometimes I'll do that shit, right? So if you're running beggars game and it's from a place of like, fuck, like nothing's working, like hey, do you guys want to hang out? Like, do you want to, you know what I'm saying? Then that's like gonna fuck with your head. However, if you actually don't give a fuck and like you're just horny and you're having fun with your boys and you guys are out there like, hey, come on, we'll go back to my place for the fucking after party, whatever, then I think beggars game is like more acceptable. Does that make sense?
What do you say, like, we're going home?
What?
Say, like, if they told you, like, we're going home.
Oh, if the girls are saying that? I'm coming home with you. I'm coming home with you. If they're like, yeah, why not? Why not try that? You know what I mean? I've for sure done that.
Try that.
When I was living in Miami, I was gaming this three set. These three girls, and they were all from Australia, and I was fucking hitting it off like crazy with this one Australian girl. I have like little videos. I'll show you after this.
Aussie girls. Yeah.
Dude, she was sexy as hell. Whatever. I'm fucking trying to get her to come home with me. They're like, no, we're all going back to the Airbnb. I was like, all right, listen, this is Miami South Beach. I'm not letting three pretty girls like you walk home alone. I'm walking you home. Now, at first, the one friend is like, you're not walking us home. We'll be just fine. I'm like, I insist. I'm fucking walking you guys home. And I end up walking the girl home, and then I end up sleeping with her that night. You know what I mean? Which I knew that would happen. I knew if I got her, like, isolated, essentially, then I would be able to. And they all had their own rooms. The two girls had their own room upstairs, and me and my girl were, like, sleeping in the living room downstairs. You know what I mean? So try to go with the girl. In fact, I've actually pulled girls back to my house who want me to take them home. They want me to like take them back to their house, even though we're at my house, and they won't sleep with me until that happens. You know what I mean? So try to go with girls. You're way more likely to close if you actually go home with a chick.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But that doesn't mean don't try to get her to come back to your place. You know what I mean? So you can go like the after party route, like, you know, oh, we're having an after party at my place with the, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're having some, you know, for people that drink, I mean, you know, for people that drink, you know, we're having drinks back at my crib. You know what I mean? You can go that shit. Me and my game, I'm like very direct about what's happening when they're coming home with me because I'm so like, you know, you see me at Nightgame. You know, what I mean, we've winged together before we run this boot camp and shit. I'm very sexual with these girls. You know what I mean? So at that point, I'm very like, come on, you're fucking coming home with me. What are you doing? We're having a sleepover and you're coming with me. You know what I mean? I'm like very direct about the shit.
Very dominant.